are now tuned in to the best damn college football recap and preview show. It's going to be mostly preview this week. United Football Media, tell me about it. We are going to get into all of this Lane Kiffin coaching carousel nonsense at the end, because I feel like by the time you guys watch the show, there's already been so much said about it. So we'll do that at the end. If you want to hear that, all that, fast forward to like the 20-minute mark, because we're going to start off with the stuff that matters. The team's still playing games, which LSU is not one, and that would be college football playoff. Where to begin with this? Do we begin with the actual brackets themselves? I think maybe not, because there's some interest, there's a little bit of movement, but really, like, things are going to change. We got some elimination games coming up this weekend. Going to talk a little bit of spread action too, a little bit of picks. My man Tugboat asked, he wants to bless you guys with some stone cold lead pipe locks of the week of the year. But the stone cold lead pipe lock of the week of the year of the week. That's what it is.
We started Miami. We've been doing great since, man.
We already are getting into, like, I said, it's officially the season, because now everybody the system's broken. System's broken. So the system's so broken. I know your solution, Tug. You want to go to 64 teams.
128, like, please. 128.
But the thing is, and this is what I always say when someone says that, outside of the obvious, which was completely destroying the regular season, which we have by some miracle managed to maintain through expanding to 12. If you expand to 128, then the fan bases of 129 and 130 will be pissed. Like, yes, it's just This will never end. And it'll actually get worse. If you go up to 24, 16, 24, then the resumes of the teams are the difference is that much thinner. Now, like, is there really that much of a gap between team 16 and team 18? Like, most years, no. Like, people are still going to be even more mad and be even more valid in the way they feel about it most years. So, to me, the only way to solve this, and we're talking about Texas fans, Miami fans, Vandy fans, they're all pissed. To me, the only way to do this is through some form of dynamic scheduling, like a scheduling situation that is generated by the results of the season. So the concern now is people are saying, well, if only wins and losses matter, then all of these teams are going to never schedule any good out of conference games anymore, because all they're going to care about now is just going undefeated. Like Ohio State did this year after they played a bunch of nobodies.
Nobodies.
So my answer to that, if we are going to maintain the same system, and I brought this up before, it sounds radical when I say it, but when you think about why it sounds radical, it only sounds radical because, this is just the way we've always done things. So what you're saying just can't happen. But if you move past that and you really think about how it would play out, I think this would help. If we maintain the status quo, I've said it before, I would like for them to move bowl games to the start of the next season. So, like, right now, the matchup is Michigan and I think Vandy, or Michigan and I don't remember, Michigan and Tennessee in the Cheez-It Bowl. Cheez-It Bowl starts off the season next year. So you have that out-of-conference game, you have that matchup, you have that head-to-head, you have that proof. Because one, you've already nullified the bowls outside of the playoffs as it is anyways, all-time lows in interest. This is how you regenerate all of that. All your G5 teams who play in those lower tier bowls, well, now they have a good matchup to start off the season with, to pad their resume going through things. And then you don't have to worry about all of the teams taking away the good out-of-conference games. And you have all the starters playing. It's the first 2 weeks of the season. It'll be a huge celebration. It'll be fantastic. This also puts pressure on the playoff teams to continue to schedule good out-of-conference games, because everyone else already has a good out-of-conference game built in because they're in a bowl. So that's one dynamic scheduling option. The other dynamic scheduling option is you create a play-in. where the way this will work, and you can edit it a little bit, but the basic thing is seed 11 and 12, right, are open.
Mm-hmm.
The first two big teams out and the top two G5 teams play in a play-in for the 11 and 12 seeds. So, so it would be, so I believe the matchup is North Texas against Tulane. Winner of that game would play Texas. And then the other one is James Madison against Troy. Yep. James Madison or Troy would then play Vanderbilt. It would happen next week, Army-Navy weekend. You leave Army-Navy by itself. It's either the night game to cap the season off, or it's the opening game. Noon kickoff. It's beautiful. Sun's out. Everybody's breath is steam. You could see it. Sun's out. Army-Navy. Beautiful thing. The other two games that day, your 4:30, your 3:30 kickoff, your 7:30 kickoff, or your noon and your 3:30 are play-in games for the playoffs. The two best G5 teams against the first two at large that are out. You can expand that a little bit too if you wanted to, if you really wanted to, but that's the basics. Both situations are dynamic scheduling, as in the bowl games get to pick the participants, or in the play-in situation, you would have to, schedule that game basically the night of conference championship. This idea, honestly, is gaining a little bit of steam because there's rumors going around right now that Vanderbilt is literally trying to do this. They are scrambling. They're fighting to find someone to play them next weekend. I'm not joking. You can look this up. Look this up on Twitter. Look this up on Google. I almost said Twiggle. Vanderbilt is fighting to find someone to play them because they want that last resume boost to try to get in. They're doing it right now. So this kind of thing can happen, I think, unless we keep expanding. And again, I don't think that's going to solve anything because at that point, the two last teams out are teams that would have an even better gripe to compare themselves with teams that got in. I feel like that's our only solution right now is some sort of dynamic scheduling solution, either a play-in or you move the bowl games to the beginning of the season. What are your guys' thoughts on this situation we have here with these teams that feel like they should get in, the G5 teams playing basically elimination games to get in, which I do believe it depends. If there's some things that could shake out to where both, I believe it's Tulane and JMU, if they both win, they both might get in. I believe right now, Tulane, if they won, they're definitely in. And some other things could shake out depending on the weekend. So the two top, what are your thoughts? One or two of the G5s going in, Texas, Vandy, Miami, they're feeling left out. What do we do? Tug, tell me.
Okay, so as far as Texas and Tulane's only lost to like SEC teams and Big Ten teams. That's why North Texas 11-1 does have an American Conference loss. That's why they're okay. That makes a little. I don't watch the show, the CFP show. I can look at the bracket afterwards, right? As far as the bowl games have always been at the end of the season, and what I don't like about it specifically is that you're essentially rewarding the next team's football team for what the previous year is doing. Now, you could say, okay, that's a little incentive for them to stay there, but realistically, I don't think there's any players, especially big contracts at Big Ten, SEC schools and stuff like this, are going. That's not enough incentives for them not to go to a different team, right?
I'm not particularly worried about that part of
it.
But
I just looked up what you. Yeah, true. Interest. The idea is very, very interesting. Melding the idea of rewarding teams for scheduling non-cons, but involving the bowl games into it in such a way that the bowl games won't just eventually dissipate or get put way after like the end of the season, like way closer to the playoffs or something like that, right? Once the schedule get disconnected like a little bit more, right? Because right now we're really only working with like 1 weekend of wiggle room, and that's next weekend, right?
Yeah.
Like there's not much more football we can cram in here, folks. I like your second idea a lot more than the first. I think bowl games should happen at the end. Yes, they have always been plagued by this issue of like, okay, well, anybody really, really good is either transferring to a different team. If it's any team but like 5 or 6, right? They're transferring to a bigger a bigger, better team that's going to pay more money, or they're going to go to the NFL, and so they're not going to play in said bowl game. I think that time is kind of over, which is going to continue to kill it for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And bowl games are going to be much, much, much more so. Obviously, non-playoff bowl games are going to be much, much more so just exhibition, just fun things that people watch because there's nothing else on.
And that's how you fix it.
Yeah.
But anyways, talk to me about a play-in.
I am literally always about the idea of a play-in, and but that is essentially just expanding the playoffs, right? So you would essentially kind of expand to like 14 teams. That's what you're saying by
In a
adding
way,
two
but it
more
would
that could
just be
possibly get in, right?
so it's the emphasis to me is it's about those 2G5 teams. Like
Yeah.
you would allow the big guys to put one more quality win on their resume to make their case to try and get in, or but then you still allow the access for those 2G5 teams. They have their chance to win their way in and make it to the big dance. Like they are not robbed of their opportunity to do that. Yeah.
I think the group of five needs two teams just based on how much behind the scenes stuff could go into just making sure that one certain team from the beginning of the season, no specifics here, is going to be that team, right? I would hate all of the things that the entire, like, not just their conference, one of the individual five, but the entire five would do together to like ensure that one is going versus there being some competition for two spots. Yeah, the group of five definitely needs two. Anyway, play-in stuff. I mean, the entire idea is just fascinating, right? And we have time to do it as of right now. The Army Navy game needs to be the last game of the regular season. I don't think that's a tradition that needs to be tossed out, baby with the bathwater and whatnot, right? But there's definitely, I mean, like Aric, you literally just said how it could happen, right? You literally just gave out a clear schedule with no real overlap unless there's overtime, right? I don't really complain about.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with that.
Or shit,
I'm
do it
never
on
going to
Friday
complain
night.
about more football, more college football. Yeah, and exactly. These there's college students, and this is like the very end of the semester, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When does college? I graduated like 10 years ago. What is college actually like in like classes wise? It's like the 15th or the 10th or something like
It's
that.
usually next week.
Okay. It's the 4th right now, so you mean like the
Yeah.
11th or so.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's plenty of free time that wouldn't necessarily interact with Christmas or travel or anything else like that whatsoever. Not that that's even like really their concern now, right? I like it. I like it. Yeah, play-in spots make for some of the best storylines, and I don't care what kind of competition it is, really. At some point, we need to talk relegation, right? Like the European soccer leagues. I want to
Oh,
talk
I mean,
about
I love that. I just don't.
That's what it'll be after the NCAA dies and the Big Ten and
Yeah.
the SEC.
The big
I mean,
SEC,
that's basically what
whatever
they're
they
going to do.
call it. Yeah.
They're going to make a 36 team conference, and you can't put all 36 teams together, right? Like that would destroy what they're trying to do when, not if, that happens. We've talked about this plenty. You were one of the first people to talk to me about this, and I do think money's going to win out. And the NCAA is kind of toothless, right? They showed it with the Michigan stuff. They've showed it in a million things since then. How much less drama and BS have we had to put up with this player getting suspended for something that's not like definitive, right?
Yeah.
Like getting arrested, pissing a positive for something other than weed, like other stuff like that. Like clear 1-0. Okay, you were in the wrong. Okay, now you get suspended. There's been so much less of that.
Tay, thoughts on this this latest bracket? Thoughts on the system, the situation?
Yeah, I know I said, I wanted Texas and Vandy to get in. I'm on that train too. So play-in would kind of fix that. Like, that'd be cool.
Well, if they won, JMU is good this year, man.
Yeah. And I mean, but then again, I don't feel bad at the same time. Like as a football fan, I know they would be entertaining, but I mean, you got 3 losses.
Yeah.
If you have 2 losses, there's no complaining. In my opinion, there's no complaint. Like you lost, you know, if you lose more than 1 game, you might not get in. Like you know that going into the season. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I get the SEC. It's tougher, I guess, but don't be in the SEC. I mean, sorry, that's your schedule. Like every team has their schedule. Like it'll like Ohio State. Their schedule 2 years from now. It could be like you never know. Like this.
It's funny to me. They always want to crow about how the SEC is the best, and they want to use that assumption as their insulation against losing, but then they turn right around and cry about it when they lose 3 and aren't going to get in.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about better teams. Like top to bottom, can you make the argument that the Big Ten is anywhere near equivalent? Like if you played number 1 versus number 1 all the way down, I guarantee you 75% or more would be that SEC teams. Not the top, not Ohio State, maybe. We talked about this last week. There's,
Yeah.
I mean, and again, Ohio State's just. On this, I feel great about Indiana this weekend if they actually come out and play, which I do think that they will because Indiana has never won a Big Ten championship. Sorry. We'll get to that later. We'll get to that later.
You think that psychopath Sigonetti's gonna do anything else?
No, like, yeah.
Come on now. Okay, so speaking of, let's get into it, man. Starting Friday night, we got Troy and James Madison. Kennesaw and Jacksonville State. Kennesaw making a bowl game. Kennesaw and Missouri State Bears. Making a bowl game right after they come up from D2. Pretty cool stuff. North Texas and Tulane in what is basically an elimination game. Do you like anything on that? Do you have any thoughts on that there, Tugger?
Yes. So going from top to bottom here, Troy, JMU favored by 23.5. Total sits at 46.5. Well, yeah, dude, JMU is really, really good, but Bob Chesney is going to UCLA, right? And Billy Napier is now coming there, but Billy Napier won't be coaching this game. And because of that, I'm not going to touch any conference championship game where the head coach gets replaced. If I had any position there, it would be Troy, but just because I could see them losing by 21. But that is a definition of a no bet whatsoever. Also, I feel like JMU's defense would need their head coach less than their offense would, right? I also have not looked up who is going with Bob Chesney to UCLA from JMU, so I'm not 100% sure who's going to be playing in that game. Kennesaw State versus Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State has had problems with one side of the football pretty much every single game that they played, win or lose, except for like their definitive games against who did they play in the UCF? Okay. Okay, they really haven't. The UCF was probably the best non-con team they played, and they only lost by 7. But running the ball or against rushing or against passing, they've seemed to have always had an issue. And Kennesaw is like a much more stable 2.5. I actually got this this opened up at plus 2.5 for Kennesaw State, and I should have taken it then. I just grabbed a money line at minus 110 because I didn't want to mess with a minus 1.5 at that point. Any feels?
Tulane. That's a good matchup, boy. 8:00 tomorrow night.
Tulane in North Texas is going to be
Yeah, Tulane favored by 2.5. Any thoughts on that one?
Tulane's head coach is also leaving, right? But this is a game that matters, though. You know what I'm saying? And is not going to be leaving yet. I trust.
And furthermore, is going to be with them for as long as it takes. He agreed with Florida.
It's almost like that's a reasonable way to do it, huh?
This is a thing that's possible. You wouldn't believe it, but Summerall, their coach, is staying with Tulane. If they go through the national championship, he'll be staying there. It's almost like it's even better for the team that's taking him. If you're like, hey, this guy's coming off of some bowl games, some playoff game wins, some stuff. Any thoughts on that one?
I trust Texas in their offense, even though their rush defense is horrible. I trust North Texas and the absolute explosive capabilities that they have. North Texas favored by 2.5, which is especially given I see this being a high-scoring game, and the total sits at 66.5. Average college football total is being between 50 and 60 generally. So this is basically saying a touchdown more than the highest average. That I'm not touching, but given that minus 2.5 in a game where there's going to be more than 50 points scored, like 100, like guaranteed, that minus 2.5 is nothing. North Texas all day long. I think they can definitely outpace the rushing defense on the other side when it really matters, and I can rely on North Texas's offense scoring quickly versus Tulane marching down the field with rushing. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Hey, any thoughts on Friday night's matchups?
I'm definitely going to tune into that North Texas Tulane game. It's going to be rainy too. I checked the weather. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be rainy. It's raining there now. It's raining there now. It's going to be raining during the game. So I don't know if that changes things, but I mean North Texas, I'm going with North Texas. Their offense, they're really exciting. They score 50 like every week.
Yeah.
I don't know how the rain. I don't know how heavy. I don't know how heavy it'll be or anything. But I don't know what that.
Looking right now, it says light rain all day.
Okay. Yeah, but their
6
offense.
mile an hour winds, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, normal. They can play through that. Yep. Yeah, their offense. They're fun to watch.
So in that scenario, it'd be interesting to see because North Texas is ranked 24th, James Madison is ranked 25th. So I suppose it would be North Texas like automatically because they would have the better win. James Madison would have to paste Troy like 80-0 for there to even be a case made. But North Texas winning and James Madison pasting Troy by 80-0 might be that apocalypse scenario where we end up with 2 G5 teams making it in.
And see, that's the thing, because they said they're not supposed to be like changing anything based on the outcome of the conference and stuff like that. Hold on. But like they also said that they're going to leave LMS at 6, and who knows that's how long that's going to.
What they said is that nobody's going to get moved down because of the results of the.
But somebody would have to get moved down for them to make it in, right?
People could get moved up. Well, there's 2 empty spots right now. 11 and 12 are both empty.
True. That's true.
So, who's going to fill those 2 spots? I think that's the situation that we could get into. Oh, I know Ace is licking his chops here. BYU, Texas Tech. BYU's winning in. That's their only shot. They're done. If they don't, Texas Tech is big time favored. Bulldogs and Crimson Tide, not much on the line as far as elimination here, but still interesting to see 2 big boy teams go at it. Like we already talked about, I think it's a bigger game for the Hoosiers than the Buckeyes. Buckeyes are favored by 4. I think Cincinnati definitely wants to win this damn game. And then the other game that's set up as a bit of an elimination game, Duke Blue Devils against the Virginia Cavaliers. It's wild to me that either one of those teams they will be in the playoffs. ACC champion is an automatic bid. So they're in. One of those 2 teams is in. I don't think anybody foresaw Duke or especially UVA. UVA was one of the worst teams in the nation. It wasn't but 3 years ago. Either one of those teams is going, and I think that's cool.
Come on.
Thoughts? Okay. We'll start with you, Tay. Thoughts on Saturday's games?
Come on, Duke. Nah, that I'm not gonna lie. That is a joke. If they win and they like that, come on, man. That's like polar bear in Texas. You look at the whole bracket when it's over. You look at everyone fits, then you're gonna see 8 and 5 Duke. Nah, me personally, I don't like that. Like that, they don't deserve that. They don't deserve that in my opinion. But I mean, the their rules, I guess. But nah, that's not a playoff season. Like because now if I'm Vandy, like I did say, like you play your schedule, but then it's like, come on, like they would be 8 and 5 like in the playoffs. That's come on.
We don't do the quality losses over wins thing here, but losses versus losses, I think it's fair. And 3 losses in the SEC versus 5 losses in the ACC, I can see where you feel like you're maybe got something to be irritated about in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
What about Indiana and Ohio State there, Tay?
That's gonna be a great game. I think Ohio State's ready because a lot of people say Ohio State hasn't played anyone. I mean, I think Texas was a good opponent. I mean, that they're better, but that was it was early in the season too. Neutral field, so there's no none of the home field advantage.
Well, you say neutral field, but it's in Indiana. Indianapolis is in Indiana.
Ohio State's too. Nah. Ohio State is gonna be in that building. I'm not gonna lie. Wherever they'll
have fans there. Yes, they will have fans there.
Yeah, but Indiana has the best win of the year of anybody. They went into Oregon and put it on. By the way, everybody else in the playoff, y'all better watch out for Oregon. I know those boys are going to be pissed.
I love it. We got the easiest
After what happened last
easiest.
year, after they came out and had that bye week and had that glorious season and then got boat raced, got their boots smoked by Ohio State, got embarrassed in the Rose Bowl of all places, they're going to be pissed, and they are very talented, and they have a good coach. Better watch out for Oregon, but we'll get to a playoff preview in a couple of weeks. So do you think Indiana's pulling this off or not, Tay?
No. Nah,
Oh.
I can't do. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Indiana right now. They beat Oregon. I don't like them. Like they're an amazing team, but I'm not. Ohio State. I need to see it, and I need to see someone beat Ohio State before I pick. I don't think Indiana would be the team. Like it's gonna be a great game. Like I can see 35-32. Like Indiana is I don't know. Ohio State is just nice. I feel like. I don't care about the schedule. They're nice, but they're gonna have to lose. Like I'm gonna keep picking them.
Yeah, I got you.
Like that's how I'm going with Ohio State. It'll be close. Like Indiana, they'll be in the game, but
you're consistent if anything. I got you.
Ohio State's tough.
Tug, what do you think, man? Is Indiana going to pull this off?
Pull off the W? I'm thinking that's. Given that Ohio State has little to play for, I don't see them losing number one spot. Even or they lose number one spot to Indiana and they go to number 2. That's really not that big a deal.
How wild is it? How wild is it? We head into the playoff. Who called that before the season? Who thought this would ever be a thing? We're going to go into the playoffs possibly with Indiana, the Indiana University Hoosiers football team, number one seed.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I think Ohio State has less to play for. They have a laundry list of Big Ten championships. Curt Cignetti is on year 2 of like an absolutely amazing run, undefeated. Right. I like the points obviously more for Indiana than a straight up money line, but yeah, I have already laid money on Indiana plus 5, I believe, and I will definitely put some money on them once I watch them play, watch it live, because kind of like it's the it's the conference championships, like why not, right? I'm not saying like a lot of money by any means, but like be responsible and stuff like that. But I'm definitely gonna be watching this and live betting it.
I would love to be in that locker room because Cignetti is gonna be.
Yes.
Nobody thinks that you guys can do this. Everybody thinks you're still the also-rans. That whole team it ain't even Big Ten players. It's a bunch of FCS dudes. It's a bunch of Conference USA dudes who transferred. It's a bunch of Sun Belt dudes that Cignetti brought with him. Yep. He's going to be telling them about it too before they go out there and play that game. I guarantee you. So I'm interested in that. Speaking of, it's Indiana number 1 basketball schools taking over this damn thing. Talk to me about Duke and Virginia, man.
Yeah, Duke coming in 7-5 is just wild to see at any Power 4 conference, right? All the flowers to Virginia and Chandler Morris, man. Duke's defense has gotten them here. It truly will be just a perfect college football thing if Duke comes in and beats Virginia to keep the Cavaliers, or to like put up a lot more flack to how you have a conversation with Virginia getting in at this one. And then obviously Miami fans would absolutely love this, because then you'd have a playoff committee like held to rules, or held to at least what they've said they're going to do, even if there's not like definitive established rules that they are definitely going to go on and not go back on for any reason whatsoever, right? I'll be watching this ACC championship, man. There's a lot on the line for Virginia. I feel like Duke has plenty to prove, but I don't trust their offense anywhere near as much in that game, and I would take Virginia and the points I see -4 right now.
Any other spreads, betting stuff that you like for this weekend?
We did skip last game on Friday, which was UNLV going to Boise State.
Oh, just because it's no implications, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, sure. Madsen's done, and Jaden, and I like UNLV to cover 4.5 here. You can kind of look at the previous game of this season, kind of like, I'm really looking at the other performances of these teams to really tell the truth here, because again, Maddox Mudson, I can't remember how to say his last name. The quarterback there for Boise State was playing in that game. Boise State obviously has less to play for, and but really the big money thing here would be Jaden Price, that running back there for UNLV. He is, when the team needs him, he is absolutely just dumbed out. I think he got 3 touchdowns last week. and multiple touchdowns. And I'm not even sure how many games. I could look it up right quick in a second. For UNLV, dude's an absolute powerhouse. Anything else? I do like Texas Tech covering the big number, covering 12.5 right there. One of the bets I feel best about, and will be watching, but obviously has no implications whatsoever, is Western Michigan hosting Miami, Ohio. Western Michigan basically a pick 'em at -1.5. That is probably what I feel best about throughout all of this. Also a super low total if anybody's an overs guy. 43.5 is what I'm seeing on ESPN right now for that game. Georgia Alabama will be fun, but there's not major implications of that game, right?
Well, I think
It was seeding.
I think Alabama's sneaky dangerous. I think if Alabama comes out there and makes this happen, I think they're another team to be very wary of going into this tournament. I think that fourth down decision that Kalen DeBoer made last week was a huge bonding moment. I don't know what else to call it, like a bonding moment for the team, a confidence booster for them. Them bonded to him and him bonded to them. If they go out there and put down the big dog, no pun intended, I think that they're very dangerous too. I think that they have
twice for the second time in the season,
right up there with Fernando Mendoza. I think they have right up there with the best quarterback in this tournament. Yep. Dante Moore also involved in that conversation as well. So, yeah. Speaking of teams speaking of people who can't beat Kirby Smart, there's a couple of things I don't understand about this Lane Kiffin deal.
Only a couple?
I don't understand. I'm trying to figure out which one of them I want to go with first, the schools or the person. I don't understand why somebody who has never won anything, to include big games, hasn't beat Kirby Smart, can't beat Alabama, hasn't never won a trophy to put over his head as a head coach. He's done as a coordinator, when he's not getting sent home because he's doing a bad job by Nick Saban. Why is this guy Helen of Troy? I don't understand. Why are we burning down cities and launching 100 ships because of Lane Kiffin? What has he done that is so incredible that it was worth all of this nonsense that has happened the last couple of weeks? To his side, and I get it, I understand, and there's been a lot about this in the last couple of days about how LSU is sneakily actually the best job in college football. That's what a lot of people have been saying. I'm not so sure it's that much for Lane Kiffin's situation. I'm not so sure how much better this job really is than Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin, to me, is a 9 or 10 win coach. That's what he is. That's what he's always going to be. He'll win you 9 or 10. He isn't going to beat anybody serious. He's not going to beat Kirby Smart. He's not going to beat any of the big teams or the good coaches. He'll win you 9 or 10. That gives you a job for 40 years and a statue out in front of the stadium at Ole Miss. He was going to do exactly what he's done. He's going to win 9 or 10. There's going to be the occasional year every 5 or 6 where they're really good and they make a playoff and who knows what happens. LSU, you want to talk about a place who maybe has a different perspective on what they are than what they actually are? I'm telling you right now, the clock started ticking Sunday. If you aren't in the Elite 8, if you aren't in the second round of the playoffs within 3 years from right now, from Sunday, in fact, you're going to get fired. You will be fired. You got 3 years. Next year, the year after that. If you are not in the final 8, at least, you are going to get fired. Point blank, period. That's how it rolls down there. I don't understand none of this, man. Hope it works out. Hope it's fun. I know a lot of cool LSU people, but there's multiple angles that I don't understand this from. Tay, you're down there chuckle facing it up. What do we got here? What are your thoughts?
I mean, respect to him for taking the job. That's a lot of money. I'd have did the same thing. That's a lot of money right there. But to your point, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. What has he done? Oh, I was about to say it. No, I'm not gonna say it. I almost called him Mike Tomlin. That was bad.
Mike
But
Tomlin's won a Super Bowl.
I know that's why I didn't. I know.
Yeah, he's not
But-
even that.
Yeah. So Lane Kiffin, I mean, I guess he can, his leverage to, why LSU offered him a job. He made the playoffs 2 years in a row. I mean, that's something. LSU hasn't been to the play. They haven't been that good either. And it's been a couple like they've been like 8 wins, but they haven't been where they want to be.
But that's where they're going to be with Lane Kiffin. They're going to win 9 games, 10 games. He's going to get fired.
They like his playoff streak. They like his 2-year playoff streak. Yeah. And honestly, I'm not going to lie. If we're being realistic here, I didn't think Ole Miss was going to be this good. I thought they were going to be in the teens, maybe in the 20s, ranked like that. They lost a lot of guys to the NFL.
Yeah.
I didn't think they would be that good. So he has some leverage. It's definitely a long shot, though, if they think that LSU is just going to be this powerhouse. It's just a long shot, but he'll get them to the playoff.
Really?
He'll get them to the playoff. They'll be like the 9 seed or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can go through the season and not beat Kirby Smart and not beat any of the serious teams and still make it. So, yeah, maybe you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Tug, what do you think about this whole tomfoolery?
It's all of it is wild to me. There are so many occurrences in today's day and age where I think that other people are going to realize what I see and oh, this has got to be the last straw. And then everybody will realize that this dude's a snake and will pivot his position based on recent successes because I honestly believe that he knows that he is not a top echelon head coach.
Brother, there was rumors going around that the delay of him going to LSU was he was watching Auburn, Alabama, because there was some thought that maybe if Alabama lost that game bad, DeBar was going to get fired and then he was going to go to Alabama. What?
Yeah. Dude, this guy doesn't have loyalty as to a bed sheet. I don't think he sleeps in the same place twice, any given night. Also, can we just run through some of these end scores? Ole Miss at Kentucky, 30-23, wins by 7. Beats Arkansas by 6 the week after they fire Bobby Road-Race Petrino.
Okay, so I was going to bring this up.
Loses or beats them. They beat LSU by 5, and they followed up with powerhouse Washington State coming to Ole Miss to win by 3.
That's what I was going to bring up. Tay's oh, they're real good. I didn't expect them to be this good. I don't know how good they are because they ain't beat nobody serious.
They only beat us by 16, okay? I know my team is dog shit.
You're calling out all these shitty wins. I don't know how good they are. Again, I don't understand what, I get it. One of the things that people are talking about is his ability to identify talent and then utilize that talent. He'll mold the offense to put the ball in the hands of the best player. He found Chambliss. He was the 200th ranked top. He was the 200th ranked prospect. He found him and got him in there, and he's blessed him to star. Okay, but again, I don't even know how good they are. I've said this for a long time. Got it from a writer I love writing. I still talk to him sometimes on social media. The beauty of social media. Greg Easterbrook. If you hire a coach who's only in it for himself, you can expect to have a coach who's only in it for himself. And there you go. Continue your point. I think that's what you're saying.
No, 100%. He has no loyalties, right? I mean, you can look at all the stuff online and all the screenshots of DMs he sends and other stuff like this. Some of them are late at night. Some of them, if you match up the dates, are right before games and other stuff like this. Now, I'm not saying all that stuff's real by any means, but you take that. You also take the dog stuff, right? That he supposedly left the dog at that he was using that he had a whole Twitter account for. Right, they supposedly left the dog in Ole Miss, and then once it comes out, now it's getting shipped on over. But it was just left there, and there was no presupposed plans from the people involved to get the dog over there. There's just, like I said, man, there are zero loyalties with this dude. I feel like a fool. Not like I had faith in this guy whatsoever, but I came on here last week, if you remember, Aric, and said I believe this to be just another Lane Kiffin publicity stunt. That his problems with attachment are now being memed on or whatever else like that, or he's drumming them up for headlines because now that he has quit drinking, he has gotten more of a control over himself and this shit like that. And I feel like a absolute fool, an absolute just bald-faced moron because at first I didn't think he was going to go. I thought this was a bunch of hoopla, maybe to get more money, but really just to stay in the limelight. Because if an addict is an addict, and Lane Kiffin is an addict's addict, like, my God, he cannot stand someone else's name being in the headlines that is not his own for more than a couple of days.
Well, we hope we're making headlines over here. Is your top content provider, whether you're watching us on DAR Sports Media or United Football Media. We thank you for being with us. We hope some of these bets that old Tug has dropped on you work out for you this weekend. Hope it's a fun weekend with a bunch of good games. We thank you for coming in here and getting our thoughts rolling into a hell of a good sports weekend in general. Bunch of big NFL games, conference championships, big UFC show. Man, I'm going to be living in heaven, and I'm spending Friday with you all heading into it. Thank you so much again for listening. This is United Football Media. Tell me about it.